Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Tuesday morning. Again, we're talking about water rates. We have one city councilman here in the house today, ready to take your phone calls. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Boy, strap yourself in. Here we go again for the next 60 minutes. Water rates, top of mind here on the show. Back in a moment. And welcome back to the program here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Of course, it's a Your Community Day. We are again tackling the issue of water rates. It's going to be front and center at the City Council meeting this coming Thursday. Hey, I do want to remind you, you're watching us live on Comcast, channel 187 and 43.6 and 13.1, and you can call in at any time at 436-ME-TV, option 11. During the course of the program, we will take your calls. Any and all calls are welcome here. You can watch the replay later today. That takes place at 2 o'clock on 13.6 and at 8 o'clock at night on 4.6 now. We changed the channel, so remember, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6, that would be Biz TV. My Twitter account, hey, I just opened that. I try to keep up as often as I can. It's, you know, all this social media, it's time consuming to keep up with all this stuff. But anyway, it's at John Mallos, MeTV. You can follow me on Twitter. All right, we got some breaking news, and according to the Fresno Bee, it's on the website there. You can check it out or go on the internet and check it out. I do want to mention it is shocking news to me that Isaac Stafford, he is one of the suspects, the key suspects, the man on the right, who was arrested last week in connection with the murder of Janessa Ramirez, 9 years old, here in Fresno, was released from the Fresno County Jail. I know you're shocked out of your seat right now to hear this, but remember, Stafford was the guy driving the Dodge Challenger. He took a shot at Brian Cooks, the man on the left, and then Cooks ducked behind a car. He was on his skateboard, shot back at Stafford. The bullet that Cook shot out of a 9mm is the one that traveled 270 yards and struck little 9-year-old Janessa Ramirez in the stomach a couple of weeks back. It killed her. In the meantime, a community should be completely outraged that Stafford, one of the suspects, is now out of the Fresno County Jail. I guess they can't hold him. Not enough evidence, they say, so I don't know. All right, to the water issue. And I want to put up a picture of Mark Standrift. He is the communications director for the city of Fresno. You can call him at 621-8000 if you have any questions about this water issue. It's so convoluted each and every day. A new piece of that puzzle is added that makes it even more confusing. Haven't been able to get a hold of Mark Standrift myself in recent times. The recording, if you want to listen to it, is 621-8618. Sometimes a live person will answer that phone number when you call that number, and oftentimes you will get a recording. All right, to the mailers now. All right, you can see now you received these in the mail. Remember, this is a protest vote. No, you don't have to mail it in if you don't want to, but if you are protesting the water rate hikes, well, there you go, my friends. You check that box, you sign it. And remember now, this is Tuesday. This thing has to be in the city clerk's office by Thursday at the latest. It cannot be postmarked by then. Otherwise, this protest vote is basically what it is, will not count. So far, they have nearly 40 2,000 of those mailers have already been mailed back to the city clerk's office. All right, live in our studio now, and I'm so pleased that he is here. He's a friend of this program's. He's been actually an acquaintance of mine for many, many years, 15 plus years here in the city of Fresno. City Councilman Sal Quintero, who represents this whole area surrounding Ventura TV here in Southeast Fresno. He is here to answer your phone calls. He'll be at the center of it all on Thursday at 5 o'clock when the council may vote on this water rate issue thing. So you're welcome to call in and ask our council member here today a question. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're back with our program in just a moment.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar? Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Spinners Records,
the Valley's classic vinyl headquarters,
carries an inventory of over 500,000 classic LPs. Choose from rock, rhythm and blues, country, jazz, and oldies but goodies. Spinners also buys and sells fully restored old school stereo gear and LPs.
You can now get a turntable receiver and speakers for below $250.
We carry name brands like Marantz, Sansui, and Pioneer.
At Spinners, we sell memories.
Spinners Records at 639 East Olive Avenue in the Tower District.
You're welcome to call in with your questions here on the water rates or anything that you want. Still kind of shocked this morning by the news that Isaac Stafford, that 19-year-old in connection with the murder of Janessa Ramirez, has been let out of jail. So if you want to weigh in on that too, I'm sure that the council member will certainly address that issue as well as the water rates. So Sal Quintero, you know, I got to commend you, my friend. You know, you are a stand-up guy. You always have been. Ever the first day I met you when I first moved to Fresno, you were on the city council back then. No matter how tough the issue, you're ready and willing to confront it, talk to the media. Why are you so open like this? A lot of council members, they just hide behind their desk.
Well, you know, the one thing I've learned, John, is that everybody's entitled to their opinions, and really as an elected public servant type of a position that I'm in, it's to listen to what the constituents want. It isn't always necessarily what you believe in, but what you were elected to represent, and that's the people of the community. And so if the majority of the folks feel one way and the others feel differently, well, there's always the majority that you have to look at what the majority wants. And the other part that I've come to learn over the years being on the council is that you can have an issue, and certainly water is the issue that's going on right now, but things change.
Yeah,
things can change. You're dealing with an issue, but just the way it's been framed, you get things can happen in Sacramento. Certain legislation has passed that totally takes it off kilter from what the city was planning to do. So you just never know what to expect, and so I guess that's kind of what's given me patience as far as,
you know, people in the media
decision.
have often said, you know, politicians come and go, but the media kind of stays. That's not the case with you. I mean, you ran, what, you served 2 terms on the council the first time?
Yes.
And then you're back again. So in your case, you haven't gone anywhere.
Well, you know, I read a lot of Fresno history. I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of history
and
here, too.
I read a lot, but always I had an interest on City Hall. And I was real happy when I came back, because the first 2 terms I had to leave because of term limits. Yeah. And then I ran again and won, but I was going through the history of city council and when the city was incorporated and that type of thing. And the longest serving councilman had been here 32 years.
Wow.
And he had
Who was
served
that?
Ted Wills.
Okay.
He had served as mayor. He was a commissioner first, then city councilman, then mayor. So he was a combination of mayor and council member for more years. And so I went through the whole history of elected officials in Fresno. And I was sworn in January. So in the next 4 years, I'm real proud to say, and with the support of the community, I'll be the second longest serving council member.
That's
in the history.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Way to go. Congratulations.
So I'm real happy about that.
Yeah, yeah. So your constituents now, do you listen to them more than you listen to your own heart? Or is there a balance between the two, between your strong convictions on how you see things, how they ought to be, and what your constituents, the ones who voted you into office, what they want? Is it a tough choice?
Not really. For me, it's it's part of the decision making that you go into, because, like I said, you're elected by the people to represent them. And in fact, I had a conversation years ago with Ted Wills. Oh. And I asked him, I said, Ted, one of the hardest things that I haven't figured out yet is, how do you vote when both sides are right? I said, I haven't figured that one out yet. And he said, oh, that's real simple. He said, you listen to both sides. You listen to both sides of the issue. You thank both sides. He says, then you close your door, you pray a little bit, and then and that'll help you decide which way to vote on what is best for the community. Mm-hmm. He said, when you do that, the people that were not supportive of that issue will come back and work with you on the next one, because they know you weren't being vindictive.
So with that in mind, do you see the people on both sides of this water issue are right? Is Doug Vagum right? Is the mayor right? Are both sides right in this case?
Well, they both have good and valid concerns. And you can see the need to some degree, but the other part that you have to look at is say, yes, we do need to have this done. We need to build these the treatment plants. We need to increase our water use source, and we need to raise the rates to get all this done. But at the same time, at what cost, and is it too much too soon for the ratepayers? The economy certainly hasn't helped us.
Yeah.
And so what's affordable?
Yeah. We're talking with Sal Quintero, the city councilman. There's a lot of time left here in the program for you to call in at 436-MEET-TV, option 11, and a lot more ground to cover. We've just begun here on the program, so we're going to be back in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
This fall, there is a place, familiar and inviting, timeless and warm. Me TV, a place all your own that you can call home.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
This fall, home is where you'll find me.
You mean to tell me that's all there is to it?
That's all.
Me TV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Back here on the program on Connect with Me, we're glad to have you along. 436-MEET-TV, option 11. Sal Quintero is here. Hey, we got a little tweet here, and does your guest have any reflections on the passing of Les Kimber, the former city councilman here, the great Les Kimber, who actually was celebrating Martin Luther King Day before it was actually a holiday?
Yes, in fact, I knew Les before he was elected. Worked on a few of his campaigns as well, and really got to know him. And there was a couple issues that I needed his help on that he was very helpful. But I think Les's commitment was his community and doing what was best to help the people with the greatest needs.
Yeah. His son Mark, I don't know if you know him, he'll be a guest here on Friday.
I know Mark real well.
Yeah,
yes.
He's a good guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Les did a good job in representing his community and really trying to help out and instilling the spirit of the Martin Luther King event. He started it was the Advocate through Les that started the Drum Major for Justice Award.
Yeah.
But one thing that I knew about Les, he didn't matter what nationality you were or anything. It was just the issue.
Yeah, it was. We got a call here for the City Councilman, Sal Quintero. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
I'd like to respond to the water issue maybe later on in the show after I listen to some of the comments from your guest. And
go ahead and ask your question.
Direct my first question to the incident with the 9-year-old girl.
Yes, sir.
That was shot.
Yes, sir.
And the suspects that were captured. There was another, over at the Bullard Loop, there was another same kind of young instance with some Clovis kids.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I wish the uncle had, because the uncle was upset about the boy, his two nephews being murdered by these gang members, and he was they were sitting at the light. This was on the Bullard Loop maybe like a year ago, and I remember the court proceedings that were going on, and the uncle was frustrated because the kids basically got off, fairly easy. But I was going to make a comment. I wish I got to the uncle and tell him that to pursue the parents, to sue them for the loss of his nephews.
Yeah.
Because the perpetrators, the gunmen, gang members were under 18, and can they sue their parents for the loss, financial gain after their family loss?
I'm sure that they can. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I don't know about you, or you're not an attorney either, right? So I'm assuming, I don't want to assume anything.
5 hours.
I don't know the answer to that question. You'd have to address that to an attorney, but seems to me like everybody is sue happy these days, so maybe you can. But what's your question in terms of the water rates going up, sir?
I listen more to what you have to comment about it, but I think there's got to be something done. It's just everything's going up, and nobody's got any money to finance these things. And I was thinking of a possibility of a financing issues like this would be say the lotto. Like some guy won $300 million, we should have 300 people win $1 million, and they buy a new car, put new carpet. I mean, get the economy moving. Buy a new TV.
Yeah.
Instead of one person saying, "Now I got to go hide because he inherited so much." He won so much money. Even people. This one lady said $100,000 would have been fine. I didn't need all this money.
Yeah.
So I don't know, with the issues with the lotto, to pay for things, pay for water, and disperse the money around. What do you think about that idea? I mean, would there be a pursuit in Sacramento for?
All right, thank you. We got the gist of your question. I really appreciate the phone call. I guess he's talking about using lottery money. I mean.
Yeah, I think the lottery was originally intended to help the educational system in California, and that's where it's designated. That's where it goes. Yeah. And I don't think we can deviate from that unless there's a vote done or legislation is changed.
Before I move on to the water rates, because we have a lot of time here, we're going to talk about the water rates. And we'll put up the picture one more time, because I don't know. I was a little jolted this morning when I saw this, that this guy Stafford was released. What's your initial reaction? We got a new DA and I know this isn't a council issue. You can't do anything about this. This is a DA, police, law enforcement thing. What's your reaction? This guy's out of jail now.
Well, evidently they didn't have enough. The district attorney's office didn't have enough information to go ahead and file charges.
Yeah.
The way that I understood it on the news last night was that he was released and they're not filing at this time.
Yeah, at this time.
And usually that's the catchword. It says at this time. So they're probably doing their due diligence and gathering some more evidence.
Are you as outraged as I am now?
I was really surprised, to be honest with you, but
what are you gonna do?
that's a system, and they don't have enough evidence.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, when I spoke to you the last time in front of the City Council on August 13th, 2013, the other 5 members that voted against the residents of the city of Fresno, they had put a little tiny box in there for the turn around and send your protests in, and then they didn't get enough because nobody knew about it. Now, this latest one I signed and sent back, but it also said my wife's name and my name. So I figured they're playing another game. If both of us don't sign it, then the protest doesn't count. I'm going to leave now and turn so I can hear you talk about it. And like I say, Doug speaks very highly of you. I spoke highly of you at the city council meeting that night. So anyway, keep up your good work. And remember, you won by 97.8% of the votes, where everybody else, like Bong or whatever his name is in District 1, he was 36% that won him out of office, and 35% said, we want you out anywhere.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Want to respond to that?
Well, the ballots were mailed in, and now I understand that the process is they are going to the city clerk's office. They are not being opened because they're all going to be counted at the same time.
Yeah.
And, so it's still going through the process.
Yeah. I want to get directly to this water issue because I think maybe only you and maybe George Hofstadter know City Hall better. You know where all the dead bodies are buried. So let's get right to it here. I want to put up the full screens of the water rates, $429 million plan. Just want to explain this one more time. This is the current plan being proposed by the mayor, $429 million worth. So at the end of 5 years here, your water rates are going to triple. Now let's put up that map. East Fresno in relation to the city of Fresno. Now the center, the yellow, is the city of Fresno. And then to the east of that, going out towards Sanger, of course, is about 14 to 17 square miles where that water treatment plant is, again, a proposed water treatment plant and proposed development out there for the 2035 plan. Are the water rates directly related to the water treatment plant and the growth out there, Sal?
What I understand, and this is what I've been told by our public works, our public utilities folks, is that
Tommy Escueda.
That's where it's going to get built, but it's going to serve not only southeast Fresno and the growth area, but the rest of Fresno. So you have the one in North Fresno, the treatment plant up there. This one will also go into the southwest and the downtown area and other parts. So it doesn't just serve the southeast, because my first impression was, well, this is what's going to help development out there for future growth. But if that was the case, then I'd really be pushing and saying, well, wait a minute, then development needs to pay its own way. You know, as far as the treatment plant goes.
Meaning developers.
Developers, yes.
Guys like Assemi and McCaffrey and all those guys that want to build out there.
Yes. And so like I said, that's what I've been told, is that it's going to serve not just that area but other parts. And we're going to be going out next week with Tommy and tour the north treatment plant, the one that's north, the one that's in the central area, which is a bit smaller, and then the new area, and just kind of get a layout. You know, I'm more of a visual person, and I want them to show me the need. You know, the real need.
You want to get the lay of the land, basically. Yes. Okay, a lot more to cover, a lot more ground to cover here in terms of the water rates. 436-ME-TV, option 11. I know it's 10:25 or so, but we're just getting started here. We're going to get to the meat of the issue in just a moment.
Spinners Records, the Valley's classic vinyl headquarters, carries an inventory of over 500,000 classic LPs. Choose from rock, rhythm and blues, country, jazz, and oldies but goodies. Spinners also buys and sells fully restored old school stereo gear and LPs.
You can now get a turntable receiver and speakers for below $250.
We carry name brands like Marantz, Sansui, and Pioneer.
At Spinners, we sell memories.
Spinners Records at 639 East Olive Avenue in the Tower District.
Okay, back here with Sal Quintero, and I have an email question here. Before I get to that, though, what are your constituents telling you? Now, you got in with a very large margin. I mean, you're very popular here in town. People like you. What are your constituents telling you about the water rates going up? Are they telling you, no, Sal, I don't want them to go up? Or are they telling you it can go up a little bit? What are they saying?
You know, surprisingly, I'm not getting too many calls on it, other than if somebody reads something in the paper, we'll get a call, or I'll run into somebody when I'm at the grocery store, that type of thing. By and large, is that in the public's view, is that, well, I can still open my water faucet and water will come out. So what's the problem? Right. Or I can water my lawn, water comes out. What's the problem?
Do they realize that their rates could triple in 5 years?
They're starting to. And that's probably the biggest concern. That's the biggest concern, is saying, you know, with the economy the way it is, and we're only a one household income family, because the wife got laid off or the husband got laid off, and it's tough. We have children at home. We can't make it. You know, if you're going to do that, then make it for less. You know, lower the rates.
And are you okay with that?
Than what's being proposed? Yes.
You're okay for making I would say, cut the pain in half, lessen the blow, well, not make it as expensive as the proposal calls for. Like, okay, if you want to triple the water rates, why not just do it by increments? Maybe a little bit here, a little bit there, so you soften the blow.
Well, it's good that you mentioned that, John, because when the issue first came up, that was my proposal, was to raise the rates in increments, but only at a small percentage each time, not what's being proposed. I mean, you're going to call it tripling, doubling in 5 years. Yet they're telling us, staff is telling us, that we have one of the lowest water rates in the state of California for this size of a city.
Right, but you also have one of the biggest poverty rates here in the Central Valley, with people being unemployed, being on fixed incomes. So,
and that's the picture that I see, John, because you have in our district, and probably other districts as well, that some properties, homeowners, that property has been passed on generation to generation, and now they stand to lose it. Maybe.
But see, from what I've been told, I don't know what you've been told, I've been told that water treatment plant out there is not necessary to serve all of Fresno. What really needs to be done, and the focus should be on upgrading the pipes underground, upgrading the system, and unless you're going to grow out toward the east side of town, you don't really need that water treatment plant. What have you been told?
Well, I'll tell you, let me give you a good example for Southeast. We're currently working with a developer that wants to build a shopping center out there at Clovis and Tulare, Fancher Creek.
Who's that?
It's Ed Cashin.
Okay.
And he's going to do a shopping center similar to River Park. He's been working on it since early 2000.
On that 14 to 17 square mile area there that we showed, that part of that map?
Yes, part of the map.
Where are the water treatment plants
what he's had to do, what they've had to do is bring in and put in water and sewer lines that the pipes are a lot larger.
He's paying for that?
So he's having to do that. They're having to do that, yes.
Why not get all the developers to chip in for that water treatment plant?
Well, that was my question as well.
And it went nowhere? Deaf ears?
Well, I'm sure there's a plan B that'll be coming.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I'm pretty confident about that.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi. This question is directed more to George Hofstetter, but I was wondering if the councilman can answer it. I want to know if farmers support the city of Fresno's upgrade to the water infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
If farmers support it?
Yeah, because George Hofstetter said that they would that 110,000 acre feet of water that's available should go to the farmers and not to the city of Fresno.
Okay. I don't know. I'd have to talk to George about that one.
Yeah. We're going to
I'm not
address
sure.
that. You're talking about, yeah, I think he's talking about the Fresno Irrigation District. I was going to ask you about the Fresno Irrigation District and Fresno's allotment from that surface water. And we're going to take a break here, but caller, we'll try to answer that after the break here. I appreciate the phone call. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're going to be back with our program and Sal Quintero in just a moment.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Spinners Records, the Valley's classic vinyl headquarters, carries an inventory of over 500,000 classic LPs. Choose from rock, rhythm and blues, country, jazz, and oldies but goodies. Spinners also buys and sells fully restored old school stereo gear and LPs.
You can now get a turntable receiver and speakers for below $250.
We carry name brands like Marantz, Sansui, and Pioneer.
At Spinners, we sell memories.
Spinners Records at 639 East Olive Avenue in the Tower District.
We're back here with Sal Quintero, the city councilman from this area. I want to get into this email question, but first I want to ask you about the Fresno Irrigation District, because I did have a chance to talk to a wonderful man out there, Gary Serrato. He's a general manager. You probably know him. He's out there. So according to the contract with the city and the FID, Fresno Irrigation District, the city claims it needs about 180,000 acre feet of water per year, but according to the contract, and according to Gary, FID can't even deliver that water to certain portions of Fresno, like out by the airport here, and I'm sure you're aware of that. So how can that be fixed? I mean, you got to fix that first before you can worry about a water treatment plant. Am I right?
Well, it's like making an investment in our infrastructure, and that's what we talked about too when with the mall. You know, it's the infrastructure that you have to take care of first before you start anything else, to me. I mean, It just seems like the logical thing. I'll tell you that...
but you're aware of the fact that they can't serve a certain portion of Fresno.
I keep in touch with Gary. I've known
Gary
for years.
You've known Gary longer than I have.
Yes.
I know you have. And so he says, at least he told me, you know, that water goes to the farmers. It goes, you know, the aquifer gets served. Obviously, it replenished to a certain extent. And then, according to the contract, Fresno gets a certain amount. But why is it that they can't deliver it to a certain part of Fresno? That's the part I don't understand.
Well, that's where the infrastructure comes in.
Okay.
You know, that we have to go ahead and lay the pipe and get it done. That also costs money, but that's my question as well. Why couldn't we move the money over to that and you know, take care of what we have that's existing?
The infrastructure first, then worry about the water treatment plant, and later worry about that development. Yeah. So is putting the development in the water treatment plant, is that like putting the cart before the horse?
Well, I'm sure there's, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm missing because I'm not the technical guy at the water plant or the at FID. But you know, I'll tell you the other thing that we did was late last year, is that we supposedly, quote unquote, had some excess water, and we sold it to the city of Orange Cove because they needed it
for their farmers. Yeah.
But my question was, well, here we are trying to raise rates on our property owners, and yet we're selling water. I mean, it just doesn't look good. No matter what the explanation may be, but you know, that's where it kind of gets. I get a little confused.
Okay, here's what I'm confused about too. The city is claiming that 180,000 acre feet of water. That's what they're entitled to, according to, you know, with their contract with FID. But FID says no, it's less than that. How much is it that Fresno gets out of FID?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I really can't answer that one for you.
I'm just wondering if it's a lot less than that, 50% of that. We got a phone call here. Good morning. You're on with Sal Quintero, the city councilman. Go ahead, sir. Or ma'am. Hello? Caller, you're there?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
My question is, say that we get this 11.53 normal rainfall the next 6 years. Will we then still need all this?
Okay. I'm not sure I understand the question. Do you?
Well, it sounds like if we're getting this additional rainfall, the 11.3 that he's talking about, will we still need to put in the plants and the infrastructure and that type of things? And my answer would probably be if we start doing it now, there's no turning back. I mean, you're already building it. You're gonna doesn't matter what we get.
Yeah.
I was on the news yesterday. They were saying that January was the driest year in San Francisco in history.
Yeah.
No rain at all.
So we're in for another drought. So I do want to mention that Sal Quintero is here, 436-ME-TV option 11. The way I understand it, and I kind of agree with you, let's focus on the infrastructure first, rebuilding that, and then maybe the water treatment plant, and then maybe the development down the road. But it seems like the city is putting the cart before the horse and jumping the gun. So now I want to put up full screens of the city council members. We'll do it one by one here. A vote could be coming up, obviously, Thursday, and you'll be a part of that, obviously, Mr. Quintero. So here are some of the city council members. Soraya, she's brand new. Steve Brandow is not. Oliver Baines is not. Capriolio is not, and we'll change it to the next one. And you have the other three council members here. You got yourself and Lee Brand and Clint Olivier. Is there a vote that will be taken for sure, or is it a possibility that the council will pass on a vote and study other options as to where to get the money from?
The way that the agenda reads for Thursday, John, is that we're going to have a public hearing. So it's time for the public to have their input.
What time does that start?
5 o'clock.
Okay, that's the public hearing.
Correct.
All right.
That's the public hearing portion, and we're going to also what we'll be voting on is a process of accepting the Proposition 218. The process that went through and saying, okay, we accept that process, now let's move on. And
Prop
I believe
218 being the proposition that has to do with
it has to do with the process of the water that we have.
Right.
So and accepting that. Okay, the report, the final, and then the water rates, I believe, will come after the next council meeting.
Oh, you won't be voting on water rates on Thursday?
It's no. The way that the agenda is written, it says hearing.
It's a hearing. It's not a vote.
Public.
So you're going to be voting on Prop 218.
Yeah, just accepting the report.
Accepting the report from Prop 218, obviously that was passed several years ago, that relates to water rates and everything else. Caller, are you there? Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick question to Sal. Does the mayor have an influence on the city council members? In other words, can she go to each one and try to see which way they're going to vote, or she's already done the part, okay? But does the mayor have an influence on the way you're going to vote? Yes or no? That's all I want to know.
No. I think my voting record has reflected that on other issues as well. But thank you for the question. What I will tell you has been done, and I appreciate that, is that the mayor's staff has come to our office and said, Sal, we'll be happy to make ourselves available to you, to meet with you at any time, to go over any questions, concerns that you may have. And as I mentioned to John earlier, is that we're planning to go out next week and go to the existing water treatment plant in North Fresno, and then we have a smaller one in the central part of the city, and then go to the new site. And I'm being the visual person that I am, that's going to be helpful for me. And that's the staff making themselves available to go out there with me and showing me.
You know, if you've been around Fresno for a long time, you might recall way back when, I don't know when it was, 2000, 2001, Sal Quintero was the swing vote, the key vote that determined the building of that brand new stadium downtown, Chancey Park at the time. When was that, about 15 years ago?
Approximately.
Approximately. Yes. So I can tell you firsthand, we got to go to break here, but I can tell you firsthand that this man, you cannot influence him one way or the other. I remember the pressure mounting, building at that time, waiting to see, gee, what's Sal Quintero going to do at the time? You know, is he going to vote for or against that stadium? And you will not cave into pressure. I know that.
Well, the thing I appreciate about each of the mayors that I've worked with or been on the council and served with, I should say, is that you know, at the end of the day, if we're on opposite ends of an issue, that we still have that respect for each other, that we're able to move on. They respect our vote. It's not a vote of vindictiveness or anything, but just one of what is it that you're doing and representing? How are you voting to represent your?
But you're not afraid of the tough vote. I know that. That's the point I'm trying to make. So
you taught me well, John.
Okay, we're going to continue our conversation here. Water rates, a lot more to get to. 436-MeTV option 11. Hey, Thursday's a big day. You got to get those mailers in if you don't want the water rates to go up. If you want to protest it, we're back in a moment.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. He's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there. Officer Poncherello, man. Frank Poncherello. Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Spinners Records, the Valley's classic vinyl headquarters, carries an inventory of over 500,000 classic LPs. Choose from rock, rhythm and blues, country, jazz, and oldies but goodies. Spinners also buys and sells fully restored, old school stereo gear and LPs.
You can now get a turntable receiver and speakers for below $250.
We carry name brands like Marantz, Sansui, and Pioneer.
At Spinners, we sell memories.
Spinners Records at 639 East Olive Avenue in the Tower District.
Back here on the program with Sal Quintero. So if the city council and the mayor change their mind and they just focus on infrastructure, building up the infrastructure, I'm talking about the water infrastructure, and if they just leave the water treatment plant and the 2035 plan on the table for now, will it be less money that we're talking about?
I'm hoping it would be, but John,
would it be less than $429 million?
Probably.
But we don't know how much less.
Well, the thing is that's where the study needs to come in to look at that option as well. And maybe they have done it, maybe they haven't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But one thing that, in getting back to the council meeting on Thursday, you know, I would really encourage folks to take the time and go and show up at the council meeting at 5 o'clock. And because it's going to be a public hearing, it's time for the public to give their input and what their feelings are. That's, I think, and that holds a lot of weight with the council members hearing from the people.
Okay, I know we put these up every single day, but I want to put the mailers up one more time because I want to get to the crux of the issue here. So if you have a protest vote and you're against the water rates going up, your option is, you're not forced to do it, you don't have to do it, but if you don't want the water rates to go up, you can mail your protest vote in. You sign the card, you check the box, you mail it in, it's got to be in by Thursday, okay? Now, let's take this phone call and I'll continue on that thought in a moment here. Caller, quickly, go ahead, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. First, was Mr. Quintero involved in a deal with the stadium?
I was involved as far as a council member in voting for the stadium.
Okay, now since Chancey is out of commission, are you guys going to change the name of the baseball or the baseball park, or are they going to leave it to Chancey?
No, I believe that to date we haven't received all the money from Chick anyway for the naming rights. The good news is that now we have the Houston Astros that is going to become our AAA team, which opens up a whole new door for us to go out and seek maybe new sponsors for the renaming of the stadium. Now it was a 15-year deal that was made with Chuck Chansey for the naming rights, and so I believe we've got a few years left on that. We're waiting to hear from the attorneys on the limited options that we have.
Yeah, because Chachansey Resort and Casino, they remain closed, and no one knows for how long.
Yes.
So, all right, caller, thank you for the call. I want to get back to the ballots. Okay, so by Thursday they have to be mailed in, and by what I've read, they need 66,000 ballots to be mailed in by Thursday, and if so, that would mean that the council would not be able to vote on the issue that the people have spoken, no water rate increase. However, thus far, it doesn't look like we're going to make 66,000. You have 40,000 ballots that have already been returned, nearly 40,000. Let me ask you a tough question here, Sal. Are those ballots going to be hard for the council and the mayor to ignore, even if it falls short of 66,000? Well, 40,000. That's amazing. You could fill up Chuck Chansey how many times over with that?
Yeah.
40,000
That's a lot of ballots. I don't think it's...
That's a lot of
it's
protest votes.
Ignore. That's right.
So you agree you can't ignore that, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. You've got, and then plus you've got some council members that are already looking at running for re-election in 2 years. So, they're really paying close attention to the big issues.
They're looking at that. Okay, so that is an issue. Even if it falls short, you got to look at that seriously. 40,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
That's right.
That's a huge number. All right, caller, go ahead. You're on with Sal.
Yes, my question is, realizing that businesses that stay in business have to plan way in the future what they're going to be doing 20 years from now. They're planning right now, and they're working on it. It seems like to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that everything that comes up before the city of Fresno is a catastrophe and an emergency, and it's got to be done right now. What happened 20 years ago? Where was the city council 30 years ago? Why has everything got to happen right now? That's an honest question.
That's
now,
a great.
This is not.
No, that's a great question, caller. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is the sky falling, Sal? The sky's always falling, my friend. What's going on?
That's a great question, and I'll be happy to answer it. Unfortunately, I'm probably only going to give you a partial answer for it. And that is that 20 years ago, we didn't have the strong mayor form of government. The voters are the ones that voted for the strong mayor form of government before we had city manager council form of government, and which the city of Fresno is run much like the state of California. The administration can set the policy, and then the legislature, which in our case is the council, can say yay or nay. So it makes it kind of cumbersome when the administration is for one thing and the majority of the council members aren't. Before, under the other form of government that we had, it was just a lot easier to get things done, to say, we need more of a study on this issue, or we need to hold back on spending these monies. Where now it's just a whole different. It's tough to get answers as a council member.
The sky is
sometimes.
falling. 2 years ago, the sky was falling when the mayor said the city's going bankrupt. We need to do this, that, and the other thing. And the city is still here, and we're still afloat. But anyway, getting back to the mailers. Okay, so they say that 66,000 need to be turned in by Thursday. Where did that figure come from? Is it based on the number of parcels, and how do we know the number of parcels in the city of Fresno? That's the other thing I don't understand.
Well, I think what they did, they were able to tie it in to utility bills, and were able to identify which were the ones that were apartments where the renter paid their own, or they mailed it just to that
Do
parcel.
we know exactly how many parcels we're talking about in the city of Fresno, or does the clerk know, or?
Well, the tax assessor knows.
The tax assessor.
Yeah,
so
Paul Dictos would know.
Is it based on what the tax assessor figure is as to how many parcels there are?
I don't know if there was any communication between the city and the tax assessor, but to me that would be the most accurate.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to Doug Begum. I know you've talked to Doug Begum, and he says he doesn't. He has not been able to get that figure from the city, so he doesn't know how 66,000 came into play, and so that's something that'll have to be sorted out, I'm sure, as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You have to get that exact parcel figure, and then.
And that's a good question to ask as well on Thursday.
Yeah. So you come to the meeting, you can ask that. Okay.
So
before we go to break,
I will say that John Malice wants to know.
No,
ask the
Doug
question.
Begum wants to know.
Doug will be there.
We're just trying to pass on the
Yes.
information.
No,
so-
Doug will be there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He'll.
Okay, we got to take a break. We'll be back here on Connect with Me, 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
We get our speed from Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Frigidaire. It means the first refrigerator. It means a history of innovations that help make your home life better. And now we introduce the new Frigidaire French door refrigerator with over 100 ways to organize for maximum flexibility. Built with adjustable flip-up and slide-under shelving and stackable crisper drawers. It's the refrigerator that flexes to fit it all, no matter what your day will bring. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here on the show, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Quickly,
Can you hear me?
What's your question?
My question is, Mr. Quintero, have you brought this to your voters, your constituents in a town and all fashion about this issue about the water?
We've had, yes, we did. In fact, there was 5 of those. We had it throughout the city of Fresno. That discussion went on. Ours for District 5 was held at Sunnyside High School.
You're talking about the recharge meetings?
The recharge meetings and general plan as
Did
well.
those do any good at all?
The no, as far as turnout goes, I think we had a decent turnout at ours. I wish there would have been more. It was noticed and that type of thing.
But were people able to voice their opposition or opinions as openly as maybe they wanted to?
Well, maybe as comfortable as they felt because the staff was there. They were able to ask questions. And the thing that I've done as well is that the calls that I'll get to my office, I go ahead and if there's some questions that I can't clarify for them, I go ahead and have the Tommy Escada call them.
Yeah. We're running out of time, believe it or not. We got about 8 minutes left. Let me ask you real quick now. If somebody were to come up to you, Sal, and say, look, you got to vote on this water issue right now. Right now, you have to do it. What would your vote be? To raise the rates or keep them the way they are and do more studies?
Keep them the way they are and hold more studies.
You think that's how you'll end up voting in the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're not going to be swayed by anybody. I know that. I just know your history. I mean, nobody's going to pressure Sal Quintero. You're just going to, you know, and would you agree with Steve Brandow that we need to find out if you want this water treatment plant, you want that growth out there, would you agree with Steve? And he's a younger guy, and he's been on the council not as long as you, but he says, hey, we need to examine and look for other ways to get money. Do you agree with that?
Well, let me tell you, when the initial issue came up as far as raising the rates and that discussion was held, I believe it was myself and Clint Olivier were the only ones that voted no.
See, and you were in favor of doing that too, right?
Yes.
Looking for other options.
So now Steve Brandow is saying let's hold back.
And he's joining the fray, right? He's joining Olivier and Sal Quintero in the same thought process. Hey, maybe get some of that water bond money, or maybe hold off, do some more studies, work on the infrastructure, do this. So we need to work. We need to have smaller steps, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Smaller steps. If you want to increase it, do it in smaller increments.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Let's take a tweet here or an email. Doesn't it make more sense to put the burden of expense of building treatment plants or the treatment plant onto the developers? I think you addressed that early in the show. Yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay, here's another tweet. Does Sal feel that he and you council member Soraya are very much alike in their thinking on most issues?
Well, I've only been in 2 meetings with her and had one meeting with her outside of a council meeting, and so we're getting to know each other and finding out where each one of us is at.
Does she understand the water issue yet? Because I certainly don't. I don't sit on the council, but I mean, it's hard to understand. It really is complex, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an expert because I'm not, Sal, but does she kind of get it, and where does she stand on it?
Yeah, I think she's got a good understanding of it, simply because in going through through her campaign, I'm sure she got an earful from the folks at on the doors that she knocked on. But also, I mean, I feel she's done some due diligence in meeting with the different department heads and getting more input from them to kind of formulate her own ideas. So you'll have to ask her where she stands on that.
Yeah, if you've got, you know, if you and Olivier and maybe Steve Brandow don't like this idea of raising the rates so much, you know, that would be 3 votes. And then if you look at Esmeralda, and she votes against it, that's a possibility, then that would be 4-3 against.
Yes.
And so that's a distinct possibility, no doubt. Hey, another email question for you here, Sal. Regarding FID, that's the Fresno Irrigation District, water delivery to East Fresno. We know there are portions of East Fresno they can't deliver to. Do they have extensive infrastructure in place there?
Well, we recently expanded size-wise the Fowler trunk line that we have going down Fowler, and that work was done last year. So we're incrementally doing some of that already on what's existing, not creating new water delivery systems, but and that's been due to growth. But we have the money to do that.
Mr. Quintero, we've got a couple of minutes left. What would you like to say to our viewers in regards to Thursday's meeting? The vote, the mailers, the water issue. Some people might be worried at this point, just being on a fixed income.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I encourage everyone to really think about attending the meeting at 5 o'clock. It's what we call a timed item, so it's set for that time for the public hearing. And encourage folks to come in and voice their thoughts and opinions. It's really important that we get that input back as well.
Is this the most important issue that you've faced in your entire tenure on the council?
It's one of them.
One of them?
One of them.
Really? Where does it rank? 1 or 2?
Probably in the top 3.
In the top. What were the other ones?
Well, the stadium was that one was high profile, and a lot of community input on that. And you remember how late those meetings used to run.
Oh.
And so that was an issue. The garbage issue was also a really high impact emotional issue for a lot of folks because of the costs, and this one as well.
Yeah, this one. So this is top 3. You got the stadium, the garbage issue, Measure G, and then now the water issue, which is amazing. I mean, hey, the sky's not falling. We're still here. Thank God, knock on wood, we're all still alive.
After all these years,
right?
we're still here.
We're still here by the grace of God, right?
Yes.
All right. Sal Quintero, stand-up guy. Always good to see you.
Oh, likewise.
You're welcome here anytime.
Yes.
All right,
exactly, and I enjoy our little meetings.
Yeah,
Thank
hey,
you.
this is fun to interact with the viewers too, to them be able to call in and you can directly talk to them.
Yeah.
All right, Sal Quintero, City Councilman. Good luck to you on Thursday. That's going to do it for us. Tomorrow, a special program. We're going to talk to the owners of those tiny houses. We'll explain that tomorrow. Have a great day.